a majority of Republicans support the aid package for Ukraine?
Oh, I believe they will. I believe they will. I mean, we've not whipped that yet in a formal whip count, but anecdotally, I can tell you that most of my colleagues, I think, understand the necessity of that. Now, some of them are quibble about the humanitarian component, and I understand that. I firmly believe they need the lethal aid. I too have concerns about that. But the beauty of this process that we've set up, I said it's better policy and better process, is we're going to put this bill on the floor, and it'll have an amendment process that's allowed. And so I suspect, and I believe there will be an amendment to strike that component out of the Ukraine bill, and we'll see if that gets the majority number of votes. But what we want, what we demand, what the American people want is they want to know, if this is an investment we're going to make, why is this in America's interest? Why is this in our nation's interest for security and safety and stability? And we need to make that case and explain to them that this, if we invest in this way, this is a really important thing to prevent a further cost to us down the road. Not only is it important to defend freedom and the innocent people in Ukraine, the innocent families and the 20,000 children that have been kidnapped and all these other things, this is an evil regime. I believe Vladimir Putin is an evil regime. I believe he is making this aggression on Ukraine because he saw an opportunity. And I think it needs to stop, because if it doesn't and he continues, he disrupts the world order that we've maintained since World War II, and many of us believe that it is likely that he might try to invade a NATO country or go to the border, for example, of Poland and set up a standoff that gets NATO allies involved. I don't want American boots on the ground over there. I don't want us to be involved in this any further. I think this needs to be brought to an end, but I'm afraid that we'll need a stronger president to help broker that peace deal. I expect Donald Trump will do that, and that's what we're trying to get to that point.
On Ukraine, you have highlighted this as a loan, but there's language in that Ukraine bill that says they can be canceled by 2026. Members of your party have criticized that as too lenient. Why did you add that language in there around a loan being forgiven so soon?
Well, the loan concept is one, speaking of Donald Trump, it's something that he endorses, an idea, and that makes sense, I think, to most House Republicans and Democrats. And the reason it has that provision and that allows a president in a few years to forgive the loan if they deem it in our nation's interest is because that might be a very important chip in a game. When you're looking at strategy down the road and maybe you're trying to broker a peace deal, that might be an important thing to have, an important an option for the president to have. And I think that makes sense to Republicans and Democrats. We would want the commander-in-chief to be able to make those decisions, and then Congress, of course, has oversight over all of it. So I think it's a good policy. Let me go over here. Yes.
You mentioned in your text earlier today about a border bill possibly, and so I just was wondering, A, if that's going to be a separate thing than these 4 other bills, and has the decision been made to bundle these 4 bills together before they go to the Senate?
Yeah, 2 good questions. Border is our number one priority. Number one priority. The House Republicans have been hammering the border. I started with it here. I do it at every interview. Y'all probably been bored of me talking about it at our press conferences, because it's the number one issue for America, and it is the most inexcusable. The idea that this president and his administration have allowed this is unconscionable to us. We don't understand it. The American people don't understand it. I've been in 23 states in the last several weeks, traveling around campaigning for our incumbents and candidates, and I'm telling you, it's the number one question everywhere. It doesn't matter whether I'm out west and the Midwest, Long Island, Deep South, it's the same. Everybody's concerned about it, and they cannot understand why this would be allowed. So yes, we're going to push a very aggressive border security measure on the floor. It's part of this whole process. All these things are intertwined. If you're going to talk about national security, and this is a national security supplemental package, you have to begin at our own border, and that's what we've been saying over and over and over. So we're going to put the key elements of H.R. 2, which was our legislation. The House Republicans passed over a year ago. It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk collecting dust as they mock it. We're going to reintroduce that. In catch and release, reinstate remain in Mexico, fix the broken asylum process, fix the broken parole process that's been abused, rebuild portions of the wall. We have some very important innovations in there, and we're adding to it this time a provision. There'll be an amendment brought that would add a provision that would allow a state like Texas to be reimbursed for all the money that their taxpayers have had to spend to do the federal government's job. I think that's just and right. I think it's going to be a popular measure, and I expect we're going to vote that through with a big It'll be, sadly, I think it'll be a partisan vote, but I believe every Republican will support it. And then we will go out and tell the American people we're still fighting for you. At the same time that we're demanding that the president use his executive authority to actually fix this. He's unwilling to do it, and everybody knows that, and we'll keep highlighting it.